Good afternoon. It gives me immense pleasure to be here to this vibrant community of TIE members and startups. Because I believe it is this community that is playing a leading role in transforming our country and making us one of the leaders and not just the followers in the world. So in the next 15-20 minutes, I would like to present to you with some of the very exciting development that is taking place in our country under the aegis of Open Network for Digital Commerce. And let me say thanks to the TIE team for inviting me to represent ONDC to share this wonderful story with you. I know it's a very new idea. Our mental models in the last many years have been framed on platforms, and everything that we think only in terms of platforms which are meeting some specific requirement, whether it is consumer goods or mobility or hotels or bookings or anything. So what we are talking about is a completely new way of doing digital commerce. So I am sure that it will be impossible for me to give a full session on how the whole digital commerce will transform with this new idea. So some of you may already know, some of you may not know very well. So for those who are not very familiar, I welcome that you join our briefing session that we have every Tuesday afternoon at 3 o'clock, run by my Chief Business Officer. You can send a mail to team@ondc.org and you'll get an opportunity. So I'm not going to go into that detail because it doesn't make sense to do that at this forum. So what I'll try to do is to set the context, what we are attempting to do, and what could be some of the impact which may have a very serious impact on the startup ecosystem and innovations and specialization, more importantly. So let's look at the context. I'm sure that today, anybody who build a business, set up a business, will start by setting up a web page or a web portal or whatever you call it, to make themselves visible to the whole world. Whenever you decide to do that, what you need to do is to create an HTML page, either by yourself or using some standard solutions available like Wix or WordPress or anything. Or you may call, if you want to have a more sophisticated communication platform, you may call an SI and tell him to do that. But when you try to do that, you only think about what you are offering. You don't worry, hey, should I go and register myself with Chrome? Should I register myself with Edge? Should I register with Firefox? Do I need to have separate platforms for all of them? Chrome has large number of users, so should I do that? No. So long as you have a web page which follows HTTP protocol, you are visible to the whole world. What will drive the traffic to any of the website is what you have to offer and whom you are offering it to. If it is relevant to a large cross-section of people, more people will look at. In fact, I read somewhere that the maximum traffic happens in pornographic sites because it might be relevant to a large number of people. If I develop a Koshi.com and you have a Thai.com, if I have lots of interesting things to be relevant to a large number of people, there will be more traffic coming. We are all familiar with that democratized world of information dissemination. But when it comes to commerce, the world had been tuned in a completely different way. If you have a new product to offer or an existing product to offer, you will first think, hey, and if you want to do it digitally available in the digital world, in the e-commerce world, you will say, hey, what's my product? Whom should I do? Am I talking about a restaurant? Okay, these are the two big guys. One has X million customers, other has Y million customers. If I'm launching a new t-shirt, I'll think, oh, let me just think about this commerce site. Should I go to X or Y? Because one has 100 million customers, the other has 50 million customers. And if you decide that you want to be present in both and visible to both this set of buyers, you have to think about your processes, your technology, everything as required by each of this platform. When it comes to selling a product to the physical world, which is where you sell most of your products today, you don't have you as a brand manager, the product manager, has the control. What should be the advertisement, what should be the discount, what should be the terms of trade, everything. But when it comes to digital commerce, you say, oh, I'm going to register myself in platform X, so this is the rules of the game. This is the conditions, this is the payment condition, this is the return condition, everything as per the platform. If I don't do that, I'm not welcome. If I fail to comply, I end up having big loss. So that's why if you look at, while all of us sitting here are very active users of e-commerce solutions, but if you look at country as a whole, the penetration in the buying side is somewhere 6 to 7%. And on the sell side, it is even less than 1%. Because to a large number of enterprises, it doesn't make sense, either because their product is not relevant to the 7% buyers that is there, or the terms of the trade are not as acceptable to them because they would like to do in a different rule. This challenge of market concentration and associated practice is a global challenge. And that is what we are trying to attempt to crack through ONDC. You know, as you are aware that in the payments scheme, in the payment space also we had similar problem. 5-6 years ago, India started something called UPI. And today, it has become a completely transformatory agenda which has helped the digital transaction to move from 250 million transactions a month to 7 billion transactions a month, which has been made possible through this idea of interoperability. But when we started, it was a problem of what you call a developing country problem. But the problem of market concentration and associated practices, which is often detrimental to a large cross-section of the industry, especially small and medium enterprises, is a global challenge. And there different economies are trying to address it in different fashion. US is trying to do it through regulation. They have been just attempting to bring out a regulation called America Innovation and Choice Online Act. President Biden was expecting that it will be passed this year, but due to many reasons, specifically fueled by the lobbying funds, it has been postponed. But the idea is to address the issue of concentration and associated market practices. European Union also is thinking about the same issue. They brought out what we call Digital Market Access Act, which is addressing the same issue, concentration and associated practices. Chinese said, forget about everything, I'll just take control and I'll use a control as a mechanism. India said, we are going to use technology and markets with enabling policy to address the same issue of market concentration and associated practices. This is a more democratic and capitalist way of doing things, encouraging and supporting significant amount of innovation to bloom from nooks and corners of our country, from all the brilliant kids whom we have in our country. Let's take a quick look at how it will work and see what is the opportunities for your community. As we know, today, if you are a seller in Platform X, you are visible only to the buyers in that platform. So what are we doing? We are saying that we are going to unbundle the components of commerce. Just for easy, then if you look at components, you have the seller interface, you have the logistics, you have the payment, you have the buyer interface. These are all components. Today, e-commerce give it as a complete integrated solution. And we say that let's try to unbundle it. And let's try to create a protocol that will help all these unbundled components to seamlessly being stitched together to get a uniform experience. Sometimes early when I tell them, people say, hey, how is it possible to unbundle? What will happen to the consumer experience? So my question is, we have cracked this problem in every industry in this world. Whether it is physical product or services. Just take an example. Does Maruti make their own tires and their own wiper blades? No. Does it? But we still have a good riding experience, because there are very clear specifications and standards that will enable all of them to be stitched together in a seamless fashion, like you create a Lego block building together to make a spacecraft or a bullock cart. Now you see the same thing in, let's say, another industry. The mobile phones that we all use. We started by having everybody trying to do everything, including towers and everything. Today, if I make a call, whether it is an Airtel call or a Vodafone call, it goes to the same tower, because we found a way to optimize the resources and give specialized services. And that's the idea that we are trying to do. So let's try to see how it will affect the life of entrepreneurs. I want to just give some quick reference. Let's think from the seller side. Today, if any entity want to create a specialized seller platform, let's take, for example, let's say some smart IIT graduates from IIM Chennai, whose parents were in the garment business, decide to develop a platform to help the garment manufacturers to have a more efficient operation. They can do it in a very, very limited fashion, because it's meant to be for a specific set of sellers. But there is one problem. You can help them with market intelligence, you can help them with the business process optimization, but what you cannot do is to give them access to market. When access to market comes from large platforms only. Otherwise, if you want to build up your own, acquire all the clients that you want, you will never be able to do it. It's a very expensive affair. Because e-commerce marketplace with every integrated service together is a very expensive thing to build. But as I said in an open network, assume for a second this 1 billion consumers is available. I'll tell you how it comes. Then suddenly this smart IIT grad saying, hey, I have an interesting opportunity. I tell this fellow, all the people who are in the garment industry, tell them, boss, I will help you market access to this 1 billion people. Now you want to try it on. Definitely, because that's where the business is coming from. And sudden opportunity for a very focused seller application. I just gave an example. So this can be replicated across. So instead of 1 or 2 platforms trying to get every damn product, you will have platforms or software solution addressing specialized users. Some users will say, I'm large enough. Let's say I'm Haldiram. I say, I have a large network. I don't need any aggregators. I can make my portal visible to this network using ONDC protocol. So that's a kind of diversity that is going to come on the seller side. But the key thing is, where are the buyers coming from? That's where very interesting possibility. Let's look from the buyer side. What does a buyer interface need? It needs a way for the buyer to come and say, this is what I want to. And look at the best opportunity from all the sellers in the market. Place an order, make a payment, and get going. Today, let's assume that Airtel wants to make digital commerce experience, or SBI want to give digital commerce experience for their consumers who are coming to their portal for financial products or telco service, everything. Practically a very difficult proposition, because they will have to go and onboard sellers across. Otherwise, the buyers will say, what's a big deal? If I come to there, only some 10 sellers. It doesn't make sense. If I go to Platform X, I got 400,000 sellers. Whereas now, as I explained earlier, every seller can make their catalog visible using a common protocol, common language. Suddenly, it gives an opportunity as a buyer platform to be very innovative and be a buyer's agent. And say that, you, Koshi, you are a HDFC tells me that, Koshi, you are my customer, and now you use my platform to have financial product. Tomorrow I'll help you to buy a mobile phone, I'll help you to buy an air ticket, I can help you to hail a taxi, I can help you to book an air ticket. Doesn't matter. Just I will help you with your profile, get the best option from this vast ocean of sellers available, because I am your agent. My loyalty is to you. I am not a pusher of the seller's product because a seller is giving me more commission. Because when a platform has both seller and platform, naturally, their incentive is to have few large brands and not many small brands. If we can convince everybody from Jammu Kashmir to Trivandrum to wear Lacoste t-shirts, it makes sense for them. Whereas now, HDFC being a very, say that they are going to give to their elite customers all the buying experience. They knowing me, Koshi is a Malayali, during Onam time come and say, Koshi, you normally wear Lacoste t-shirts and coat boot for all your meetings. It's time to wear a jubba for your Onam party, and I'll help you in Delhi to find that seller who will get you a nice deal. Because all the sellers are available. So it need not be just people with a large opportunity. It could be, let's say, a smart graduate coming up and say that, I am going to address of all non-resident Keralites in Kerala to help them choose products that they can identify culturally with, to search them out. And I will help them to do Malayalam text and Malayalam voice. I address is only that, because I don't have to worry about going and finding out all the sellers, because the protocol will help me to search out what exactly these NRKs want. Or think about somebody saying that I am creating imaging software. And this imaging software today, if you want to go and sell it to e-commerce, you have to go and see whether that imaging software is relevant for that 2 or 3 platforms there. There's no independent opportunity for that smart person. Tomorrow in an open network, he may say that I am going to go to this millions of sellers, help them to develop a digital catalog. And I'm going to give it as a SaaS service. I'm going to make it available to all the sellers in the country. Today, as I told you, only 1% of the sellers are here. There is 99% of the sellers who will need the help. In addition, I'll also help them to get this catalog in 22 Indian languages. That's all my services. I can seamlessly be stitched to the large field of e-commerce. And this is the beauty of the idea of Open Network Digital Commerce. We have set it up. I'll just give me a quick update of where we are. We started this whole journey thinking about it about a year and a half, 2 years before. And we set up ONDC as a company 31st of December 2021. We started, it's a network. It's not a central platform to get big IT guys to make. We are like a conductor of an orchestra. We only make the music sheet and we have a stick to show the directions. It has to happen from multiple people coming together, with each of them with their own capability and specialization. This cascading transaction has to be demonstrated. So we started in 30th April with a limited set of buying application, 1 buyer application, 5 seller applications in 5 cities across the country to show this cascading transaction. With real buyers, but only by invitation. To show its applicability and give confidence, we expanded the similar kind of alpha testing into about 85 cities. But it's not open to the public, only by invitation. And 1.5 months ago, we said, now let's take the next level of beta testing. We made it available in Bangalore in 16 pin codes. Now it's available in 28 pin codes for public at large. Now, the beauty is, now every day new entities are coming up as a buyer platform, seller platform, or logistics. 22 such platforms are live, out of which 23, out of which 5 are buyers, 3 are logistics, the remaining and sellers. And the beauty is 615 entities have already signed up and started doing the work, with 230 of them already integrating, which include big companies like HUL and ITC who have gone live, and which big companies like Microsoft already participating at TSP. The beauty is 70% of this 200 are startups with brilliant ideas, whether it's a buyer side, seller side, specialized platform. And that is the most exciting part. And the other day I saw the announcement from Sidbi that they enabled a seller platform who had come live, a startup seller platform, to make very specialized artisans product from Northeast to be now available. And these are the kind of way things are growing. So I just want to throw open to you what we are trying to make, the possibilities that is emerging, and the way commerce is going to change. If I just conclude by saying, what is my vision long term? Is that e-commerce as a sector as being practiced today will become irrelevant. It will become an exchange, it will become a part of the larger commerce. commerce where the endpoints, the sellers and buyers, will come together as per the terms and conditions and not determined by a few large platforms who have all the controlling power. And that is going to be the world that is changing. It will change the credit, it will clear the supply chain, it will change the supply chain, the relationship between the wholesaler, retailer, because now they can talk about products and not just about credit, and so many opportunities. I don't want to, if you let me go, I'll just go on and on, but I know my 20 minutes is up. Thanks a lot. Happy to connect with you, and as I said in the beginning, please join us in our business briefing every Tuesday at 3 o'clock. Thank you.